want to start with brief introductions, and then we're going to go right to questions. So to my left is Kenneth Cole from Kenneth Cole Productions. And as you may know, Kenneth has been a real activist on the social front, using his corporate assets to drive a social agenda. Service is a part of that. And I'm a big fan of Kenneth's apparel, and many of us know his apparel and his shoes, so thanks for being here, Kenneth. David Eisner is an important voice on our panel. I know to those of us here at Service Nation, David is well known to us. But to many Americans, they have never heard of the organization that David runs on behalf of the federal government that looks after over $1 billion of federal resources, largely applied to service. So we're going to go to David a few times today and ask him the question, so how can private sector be a partner in national service to really drive things forward? Thank you, David, for being here. Jim Quigley from Deloitte, Deloitte's CEO, is next to David. And Jim is known as a leader in a variety of fronts, both personally through his efforts with nonprofits and his activism on that front. But also, Deloitte was an early leader for an initiative we'll talk about on this panel that's been called the Pro Bono Initiative in the corporate sector. Jim and his company in February helped us launch this with the President's Council and stepped up with a $50 million commitment to that campaign, and we'll talk more about it on the panel. Next to Jim is John Rice, GE's vice chair. And you know, GE has been such a leader in so many markets on so many fronts. And I don't know how well known their philanthropy is and their commitment to service. And so we want to explore with John not only what it's doing today, but the lessons that they've learned since they started their foundation in 1953. And then the lady all the way at the end of the table is no stranger to this crowd, Laysha Ward, who's president of the Target Foundation. I think many of you know that Target has a very unique commitment to give back 5% to communities around the nation where they have a presence, and in their home city of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. We heard from Laysha last night, and she gave us an overview. But to give you an idea of scale, Target's commitment today represents about $3 million a week going into communities for good. And so thank you, Laysha, for being with us and for all that Target does for our communities.